All right, stream seems to be looking better now. Um, yeah, okay. So I use the term attract mode because that's actually an old arcade term when arcade games used to try and attract, you know, they tried to catch your attention. Odog is saying I might want to try and play around with the YouTube streaming sometime. Yeah, I've heard that. I've also heard Hitbox is good, and I'm thinking of maybe moving to another streaming service. But it's a matter of figuring out what my capture card actually supports. All right, so let's get started. Okay. Thrill as I adjust the gamma. There we go. Okay. Okay. All right. Game save, new game. I have played through most of this game. I'm not. I haven't quite finished it yet, but I do have a concurrent playthrough, so I am staying ahead of this so that I know I can do what I need to do. You know, I know I can actually play through this game, and we're actually going to try and 100% it. Um. I'm going to put subtitles on just in case. And as always, we're going to invert the y-axis because that's the only way to play. Yeah, no, Sigrun's Strange Fate is saying the card shouldn't affect what I can access to stream, but the software will. Yeah, I'm using the software that came with the Elgato card. Um, Yeah, Odog is saying that YouTube gives allows the viewer to change the resolution if they are not keeping up. That's actually pretty cool. I might look into it. I'll check into it. But is there even downloadable content for this game? I don't even know. Okay, so let's get started. As usual, I'm going to try not to talk over the opening, and then so I'll see you on the other side. Oh. And I'm going to keep it on medium difficulty right now. Um, but if I find that it's kind of slowing the game down, because there are some problems with this game. I like this game, but it had some problems.
After our boat sank, I was the only refugee to reach the shore. I held my husband's hand until the very last second. I can still feel the nails of his fingers sticking into mine, you know?
The first night he said to me, "Let's share our memories." I remember I was sort of afraid, but then he smiled and we hit the switch together, and then I felt everything. For the first time, I was living all of his love for me. It felt so warm and so strong that it almost hurt. For the last 3 years, every day has been our first day.
The weather was so hot that day. The streets stank of this awful smell of burning plastic. I walked with the other children across town until we were outside of Paris. No one fired. The war was over. I don't know if I'll ever find the courage to give these memories to my son. But I'm relieved to know that they are all safe and secure.
Thanks to my Sensen, I choose to remember every defining moment of my life. Good ones and the bad. Thanks to my Sensen, my husband lives on. Here and here.
Host memory wiped. Sensen awaiting new memorial content.
Good day. Can you hear me?
Yes.
What is your name?
Nilin.
What year? What did you say?
Nilin.
Damn. Now that's a first. Not to worry. We'll scrape away those last memories. What year is it?
I don't know.
It's 2084. Do you know where you are?
No.
Not so resistant after all. Thank you for your cooperation. Dr. Quaid,
Yes.
this subject is displaying some resistance.
Complete the substitution protocols, then send her to me. I'll erase the last barriers myself.
Yes, Doctor.
Good day. Raise your head, please.
Whoop, sorry, I was banning someone in the room. Okay, so here we are on the other side of the on the other side of the intro, where we now have the tutorial.
Now stand up. Please follow the orange line to your next assignment.
Now, just so that you don't think it's the stream, there are graphical glitches in the game right now that are part of the game. Okay, so... and it was already noted that the doctor's name here is Dr. Quaid, which is definitely a reference to Total Recall. Total Recall, interestingly enough, was based on a short story by Philip K. Dick called "We Can Remember It For You Wholesale," that actually had very little resemblance to the movie.
Memory loss can be disorientating. It is normal to feel.
Now, the little probe is this game sort of introduces this scene sort of introduces the whole augmented reality thing. So you have this device on the back of your head called a Sensen, which is short for sensory engine, or sensation engine, actually. And apart from interacting digitally with your memory, the memories in your brain, it also allows the world to overlay augmented reality tags like this yellow line and the other indicators. We can actually deviate from the yellow line.
Please await a staff member.
A smile
We
is
will attend to you as quickly as
And then the probe will sort of yell at us.
interacting with staff.
Secret and Strange Fate is saying Minority Report was the sort of kind of sequel to it. No, actually that's not true. Minority Report was not at all a sequel to... Philip K. Dick wrote mainly short stories. And he wrote a hell of a lot of them. And he was sort of a punchline author. Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Wait, the back of my neck got a call there, but they didn't want to talk to me. This is basically just the movement tutorial. And the thing with the Philip K. Dick stories is that they tended to be a long setup to a single punchline or a twist, kind of in a similar vein to a Twilight Zone episode. The movies based on Philip Dick novels, like Total Recall and like Minority Report, were actually much different from the books, and in my opinion, because I read a lot of Philip Dick, they were a lot better than his short stories were. Most of which were kind of had really dumb payoffs. Like, the actual payoff of Total Recall was really insane. And just
Can you hear me?
dumb.
They're about to wipe your brain, Nathan. Don't let them do it. I need to create a diversion. Be ready to move when I say.
Who are you?
I'm the voice you have to listen to if you want to live.
Come with me if you want to live.
Don't leave me alone.
Please stand in line and wait for your turn before sitting down in the chair.
Network anomaly. Temporary quarantine established. Thank you for your
Please stay in
patience.
line.
That got their attention. Nilin, the large metal shutter is going to raise on your left. If you understood me, move your head. I'm linked to your sensen. I'll feel it.
See, I actually like the augmented reality tags, like the little warning on that.
The door. Go under it. Now.
Now, if you pay really careful attention, Nilin actually has a slight hesitation as she goes under the door. It's really subtle. But there's actually kind of there's an important cue to this. Mad Adventure is saying I like the feel of this so far. Yeah, the game is very atmospheric. And like I said, we'll talk about all the reasons why it came to be once the game gets flowing. But right now, let's just get drawn into its world. That's not ominous at all. Okay, so basically right now...
Unattended patient in restricted area. Coercive unit deployed.
I love that, like, that little projection that it gives off. Now this is just sort of, honestly this isn't really anything, it's just a runaway.
Get up. You've got to keep going.
Yeah, Mad Adventure is saying, wow, that was cool. Yeah, there is a lot that is cool in this game. And one of the most interesting things is that there's a lot of subtlety in this game. The storytelling is really well done.
Quickly.
And there's a really good example of it right here. Whoop. Yeah, see, we get this little warning again. It's the atmosphere is impressive enough that I really don't want to talk about it. Or I really don't want to talk over it for a little while. I just want to kind of be quiet. Jean-Maxime Morris was actually one of the founders of Don't Nod Entertainment. I also like that you can actually cycle the tips with the cycle the tips button. Why hasn't any other game ever done that? I will also say that I absolutely hate the trend of putting quotes in between chapters. Like, I hate when novels do that too. Like, it's so unnecessary.
Nilin, are you okay?
No, I need to get out of here. Get me out of here now!
Calm down. My name is Edge. You have to trust me, sis.
I just did, bro, and now I am trapped in a coffin!
I must prepare you for what is waiting outside. The enemy is Memorize, a corporation that has digitized and commoditized memories. They call it Sen technology, and the world is addicted to it. You follow.
Yes.
You were a memory hunter, Nilin, the best. Other hunters merely pillage memories, but you can remix them. And above all, you are an errorist, just like me.
Why did they do this to me?
You were a revolutionary fighter, and my best agent. We all fought to assure that no firm might build a monopoly on all human memories. But I failed. We were rounded up and imprisoned.
Oh, this is all very interesting, but I really have to get out of this coffin now.
The currents are going to take you to Slum 404. Once you've landed, I'll tell you my plan.
Now, Tabbertson in the chat is pointing out, yeah, here's the info dump. And yes, it is an info dump because it was sort of a necessary info dump. And at least it was quick. But this is what I like about that scene more than anything else, which actually shows real good storytelling chops. Nilin is claustrophobic. The game doesn't ever explicitly say that. She never says, oh, by the way, I'm claustrophobic. You just have to kind of read the way she was behaving in that scene. And you can actually see that she was having trouble keeping it together in the coffin. That's also why she kind of hesitated going under the door.
Listen, Johnny is crying.
And that was like the most impressive bit of storytelling I had seen in a video game in a long time, because you don't normally get that sort of subtlety where it's like, okay, here we're just going to make the character behave a certain way and let you figure out this aspect of the character.
Oh, brother, alive?
Matt the Warbo is saying, to make the info dump make sense, just build your entire game around Amnesia. And while I'm generally like really down on Amnesia plot,
A new us. Pain is shared now. Fear is lost now.
no, I kind of forgot about this.
Tears and grins. Lost. Look! A new us! Pain is shared now. Dark pain is lost now. Been searching a long time now.
I kind of forgot this scene, Saw. Again, I'm going to be quiet and let it kind of do its thing.
Tears and grins. Sister, meet.
How about friend? I'm not part of your tribe. Is that it?
Okay, so now we start to get our combat tutorial.
You're gonna have to, Nilin. These guys will kill you. Use your presence.
Okay, and this introduces the basic the basic combat mechanic of this game, which is one of the more interesting mechanics in this game. Basically, the way the game works is on a build-your-own combo system. Okay, and I'm going to let it... Yeah. So it's basically explaining the combo system. So on the left, you have... whoops, I cycled out of it. So on the left, you have different combos. Right now, I only have one combo, which is square, square, square. On the right, I have different moves that I can slot into the combo. Okay. So now, like you can see, I have this sort of quick upward punch and then this forward punch slotted into my combo. For now, every time I hit square, square, square with the right timing, I'm going to execute this combo that I've designed for myself. Okay, now, that mechanic becomes more interesting in time. Right now, these are just basic shots. So if I start... Whoops. And you can actually see that I build up my combos on the bottom of the screen so I can keep track of which combo I'm working on. The other interesting thing is that if you do a dodge in the middle of a combo and then come back and then hit the button quickly enough, you'll actually keep the combo going through the dodge. See, like I just did it there. The timing is pretty precise, so it's kind of tough to keep the combos going. But there's a lot of... I'm not doing very good with the dodging, but there's a lot of Batman-style combat. You know, it's very Batman, Arkham Asylum-esque in the free-flowing aspect.
Leapers. Miserable cast-offs left to rot in the depths of Neo Paris.
Miserable.
But as you learn moves that do different things, the combat system gets really interesting.
Simply humans like you or I, but cast as shadows of our shame. Something we are meant to fear. Another justification for the errorist cause.
Who's that?
Okay. So now we're kind of in control and can start playing the game, actually. And right now we are in what is called Slum 404, which is one of the slums of Neo Paris. I also love when we were in the future that... Now there is, like, I'm having a weird problem with my controller. I might actually... Hold on a second. Okay. I've noticed that my controller... I don't know if it's my analog stick has gone bad, but it sort of keeps drifting to the left even when I'm not pressing left. So I'm going to switch controllers. Okay. The camera in this game has an issue. It is a little bit unresponsive. Mad Adventure is asking what year was this released. The game was released in 2013. Though it actually started development in 2008.
I told him you were back in the game.
It had a pretty long development cycle.
404. Start by climbing out of this dump, and I'll give you directions as and when.
Okay. The game itself is a fairly linear action platformer type game. You'll probably recognize it as very similar to Uncharted.
Does anyone recognize Edge's hand in this? He's promised to bring down our civilization. One thing is certain. The number of errorists freely roaming our beloved city doubled overnight, bringing the count to 2. Remember, Maggie told you first.
Okay.
Scandal at La Bastille. The administration has admitted the escape of the notorious criminal Nilin. In hell, Republican number 1 escaped from Amnesia Cathedral. Does anyone recognize Edge's hand in this? He's promised to bring down our civilization. One thing is certain. The number of errorists freely roaming our beloved city doubled overnight, bringing the count to 2. Remember, Maggie told you first. Scandal at La Bastille.
So these little news footage things help fill in some of the story. So we learn that Nilin escaped from La Bastille, that she works for Edge, that Edge is a known terrorist, and that the terrorist organization really was down to just Edge when Nilin escaped. Okay.
Edge. Who is this Tommy guy?
Tommy was your closest friend. A former memory hunter who's still faithful to our cause. His bar is in a cargo hull over the canal locks in Slum 404. The Leaking Brain. You can't miss it.
Okay. So right now this is basically just actually I think I missed something. I'm going back for a second because like I said, I really do want to try and whoops. I want to try and get absolutely everything. Yeah, okay, here. Okay, so scattered throughout the game are a number of collectibles, and the first of the collectibles are these Mnesist memories. Okay. And once you find one, it becomes a journal entry. So I just picked up the first one, which is on the founding of Neo-Paris in 2053. And this actually, this actually, like, okay, so over here on the right, it tells you the story of Neo-Paris, and we're not gonna read the whole thing, but essentially, the Neo-Paris was rebuilt after, basically, after the end of the European Civil War. A number of bombs pretty much decimated Paris, and then it was eventually rebuilt. And it owes a lot of its rebuilding to the to an entrepreneur, Antoine Cartier-Wells, who was the head of a company called Memorize. And Memorize is the company that built the Sensen technology. Okay. Oh, one of the things I do want to call attention to, because this is really important to the themes of this game. Notice that this looks kind of like a this is almost, if you look at the header on the top of this, you'll notice that it has a number of hits. This is actually a shared memory, because this whole game is about the digitization and sharing of memories. And in the upper right, you see that there's a number of people who remembered the event and a number of people who had forgotten the event. And those things sort of are reminiscent of kind of like a thumbs up, thumbs down social networking type setup. Okay, where, you know, as people access that particular memory that was posted, some people remember the event, and others can say, "Oh, I didn't remember that. It's cool that I saw that again." Sort of an interaction with social media. Okay, just pay attention to that for now, because the themes of this game sort of become readily apparent. Okay, we have our second Mnesis memory now, which is the Nymphaea hospital ship. This was a hospital vessel. This was actually a warship that was converted into a hospital ship. It is run by Dr. Quaid, and it is one of the foremost institutions for teaching memory problems, or for correcting memory problems and memory illnesses. It also hints at the fact that Europe was underwater. Because this game has a theme, one of the things that happened is global warming caused most of Europe to flood. Okay.
Food served all day at the Leaky Brain. Today's specials: crunchy crab cake a la Tommy and sewer shrimps in slum sauce.
Okay. I also like these little warnings over the little augmented reality warnings. Okay.
These things are everywhere.
Defeated child.
I am, I think, trying to remember. No, okay.
Like a dread bird of prey. No doubt the infamous bounty
These short
is on the trail of errorist escapee Nilin. Remember, dear brain peepers, it was Olga and her husband David who placed 30...
I'm gonna let all these short clips play. They actually cycle, they on a repeat. And each of them foreshadows events in the story.
Rumors of David's illness abound. We hope he recovers soon. Good morning. Here's a riddle. Who was that storm cloud seen flying towards Slum 404 through dawn's early light? Olga Sedova, through hail and sleet like a dread bird of prey. No doubt the infamous bounty hunter is on the trail of errorist escapee Nilin. Remember, dear brain peepers, it was Olga and her husband David who placed 37 errorists in amnesia cells, winning the Dead or Alive prize for 2082. Good luck, Olga. She'll need it working solo. Rumors of David's illness abound. We hope he recovers soon.
So that introduces the character of Olga Sedova, who obviously is a bounty hunter. I swear I'm missing a sat patch here. But maybe not. Yeah, I guess not. Okay, no big deal.
Look, Olga, she'll need it once.
So the game itself is actually fairly linear. There's not a lot of exploring. It's not really an open world game in any sense. It's sort of a linear progression through the levels, but it is interesting. I mean, there's nothing wrong with linearity of gameplay if the gameplay itself is interesting. These things are actually little visual riddles and represent memories that have been left behind by other errorist agents. And they clue you into collectibles.
There must be someone up here.
In this case, oh, here it is. That's what I was looking for. Sat patches are collectibles. Once you get 5 of them, you get an extra chunk of health. Now, there were a couple of problems, and I'm going to talk about the controls of the game now. There's a few issues with the controls in this game. Number one, the camera is sluggish, and often it kind of fights you a little bit. This was one of the things critics had a lot of problems with, was the camera in this game. Oops. Okay. Okay. So now we're getting introduced to a little more complexity in the combo mechanics. So first of all, we now have 2 different combos we can execute. Square, 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 and triangle, square, triangle, square, triangle. And we can slot different moves into these combos. Okay? We've also been introduced to a new move, which is called a regen. The moves are called pressins, by the way. I don't know why. But we've also been introduced to regen pressins, as opposed to power pressins. A power pressin does damage. It does high damage when you slot it into a combo. A regen pressin causes you to heal when you actually land that hit with the right timing. And I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to build up this combo. Now, you can only have each move slotted into one spot in the combo. So now I've kind of killed the square, square, square combo is only a square, square combo, because I don't know another move. I don't know another move that will slot into it. But now this triangle combo, the first hit starts the combo, and then after that, it's got a regen hit, and then a regen kick, and then a damage hit. And as you examine the combo, it'll tell you the total damage and regen that you'll get from executing the entire combo. You can also sort of... And as the combos get longer, it's more important... It's actually more important to be able to dodge and then recover your combos. That's why there's also the red indicator that tells you when you're about to be attacked. So if you can keep executing heal combos, you can kind of keep yourself healed. But I can also dynamically, like, let's say now I'm at full health again. Now I just really want to do a power combo here. So I can rebuild my damage combo in the middle of the fight dynamically. So you can actually adjust your combos to the needs of a particular scene. Whoops. Remember to dodge enemy attacks. Yeah, thanks for the reminder. The other thing with the combo system is that the later in a combo a move happens, the more effective it is. So notice that if I put the regen combo, the regen moves here and here, then I get a total of 20 regen. But if I were to actually slot the regen combo later in that combo sequence, the regen actually goes up to 23. The farther into a combo a move is, the more effective it is. And it also allows you to adjust your gameplay. Like, you can build a general purpose combo that does both regen and damage and bounces back and forth between the two. Or you can build combos that are specialized if you like to remember numerous different combos. Like, you can have your healing combo. You know, it depends on your playstyle, and you can adjust the combo system to your playstyle. I find the combo system, the build your own combo system, really fascinating. I absolutely love it. But as we're gonna see, the game kind of doesn't really, the game really doesn't do so well with it. Like, it doesn't go as far as it can with it. Okay, so now we have we've now found another Neesist memory, which starts to explore the history of Memorize. Tells us that Antoine Cartier-Wells founded Memorize, and blah, blah, blah. I actually don't remember this one. Basically, he discovered direct neural interface and brain-computer interface, and he figured out how to digitize memories and sensory impressions, which made the sensory engine possible. And once memories could be digitized, they could actually be transferred between people. You could wipe them out from people. You know, so that, like we saw at the beginning, that whole memory wiping thing.
I couldn't care less, 'cause my life was worse. Drop by my place, Leaking Brain, because misery loves company. Hey man,
And now we have another visual riddle here. You can kind of see the orange glowing box in the picture is the thing you're looking for. Okay? But because the game is so linear in its nature, and there are so few branching paths, you really don't need... Oh, I forgot. I took apart my damage combo, didn't I? Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put back together my damage combo. I actually like to specialize my combos a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and build a damage combo, which is square, square, square. And I'm going to go ahead and build a regen combo, which will be triangle, square, triangle. And I don't have enough to make it a full 5 combo yet. Okay. Now PMP are procedural memory points. Okay. And the idea, actually the creator of the game talked about this, is that you can start to unlock, you unlock new moves. Okay, so I now have a key that will unlock one of these locked pressings. In this case, the only one available is this third power square button. Now, there's actually no difference between these 3 square things. A square is a punch, a triangle is a kick. Okay? They look different, but they actually don't function any differently. All the power punches do exactly the same damage. The damage depends on where they're placed in a combo. So all this really does is it gives me a third square button to use somewhere in a combo. So now I can actually build my combo out into a 4-point combo, and by putting the regens later in the combo, I'm getting more healing out of them. Now, the creator of the game, he said that the whole idea behind the procedural memory... So, procedural memory is actually a, I think that's a SAT patch? Yeah. Okay. Procedural memory, also known as a muscle memory, it's not a sensory... Whoa, shit. It's not a sensory memory. Like, most of our memories, you know, we actually remember sense impressions, especially sight, we're very sensitive to. Oh, this... I forgot about this dramatic climbing scene. But we also have memory of how to do specific things. Like, those are the sort of procedures that become automatic. Like, even driving a car eventually becomes a procedural memory or a muscle memory. Where you sort of can do the action without thinking. And the idea behind the procedural memory points is that Nilin is basically remembering things that were wiped from her memory. She was a really good martial artist before they wiped out her memory, and this is all sort of coming back to her. As she fights, she remembers more and more about how to fight. Now here we're getting introduced to a new memory type. So we have the Leapers, and the Leapers haven't been explained in too much detail yet, other than the fact that they are insane dregs of society.
You've got the wrong girl.
Ooh.
Confront me!
So now you'll notice that when he does a charge attack, it's kind of tough. So when he does a charge attack, you can't vault him. Like, you can generally vault enemies, but when he does that charge attack and his little exclamation point is surrounded by a triangle, you can't vault him. You have to get out of the range. It's the only way you can respond. Unless you're like me and suddenly suck at things. But now he develops a new gimmick where he draws power... Okay, he's a Skinner. And he draws power from individual Leapers. So that he's sort of invincible. He is actually invincible. Until you defeat all the Leapers. And this is one of those areas, or this is one of those spots in the game where it would actually be really helpful for the camera to work with me as a team player. So that I can keep track of where everybody is. Oh, damn it. He sort of stun-locked me. Alright. Sorry about that. Now, the fights are actually checkpointed. So, if you die, you come back pretty much to that checkpoint in the fight. It's also a little tricky when the enemies are together to target who you want to. How many Leapers do I have left? Another problem, especially with your longer combos, is that weaker enemies tend to die partway through your longer combos, preventing you from executing them. But at the same time, the enemies... Whoops. Yeah, okay, so the Skinner is no longer Berserk now. Because I killed all the... Wait, that looks a little Berserk to me. And now we're just gonna hammer him with power combos.
The Leapers are attacking citizens.
Leapers were citizens.
All right. I'll believe you.
Come on, move it. Tommy's waiting for
I like
the leaking brain.
Yeah, okay. I guess I'll believe you about this whole Leapers are people thing. Even though it's pretty obvious that the Leapers are people and that there's something going on with the... Like, they have the brain implants. They have sensins because sensins are ubiquitous. Everybody in the society has a sensin. But it's very clear that their sensins are malfunctioning in some way from all the scrambling of the little holographic dealie on the back of the neck. It's also clear that they're sort of networked with each other via their sensins. I have no idea why that particular repair drone does, opens that up for you, but it does.
Citizens of Neo Paris, the Leaper threat has been addressed. Thanks to the Reconversion Project, they now live to serve you faithfully. From sanitation to Saber Force, they have become productive servants of society.
Now, the reconstruction or the reconversion project that's being discussed there is sort of, right, I think it's only really implied at the beginning, but essentially what it comes down to is by deleting people's memories and then adding different memories, you can actually change their personality. And one of the major themes in this game is about memory and identity. Which, I mean, it's not a secret. It's obviously buried in the game, everywhere. But again, the creators talk...
Across the floating market to that warehouse. It's a shortcut to Tommy's bar.
But the creators talked a lot about the themes that they wanted to explore in this game. Okay. So now this is Slum 404. Did I miss that jump? Okay. Well, whatever. So I missed the jump. No big deal. So this is Slum 404 proper. Slum 404 is a section of Neo Paris that... Okay, so... Actually, okay, I guess let's talk about the development of the game and the whole global warming flooding issue as we wander through here. You can't really interact too much with... Oh, we found another Nesis memory. Oh, I think this is an important one. So we'll talk about that first. There's so much to talk about with this game. No, that's the founding of Memorize technology. Right. Okay, the Hunt Glove. Okay, so the Hunt Glove is a hacking tool. It is used by memory hackers specifically to break through the security protocols that prevent people from getting into your brain through your sensin. And the deal with the Hunt Gloves is that they can be customized. They're extremely difficult to use. They require a very careful touch. Only about one person in 10,000 can actually successfully hack the sensins. And they generally do so by customizing their Hunt Gloves to match their sort of neuro thingamajigger. Yeah, you know, their brain patterns or whatever. Oh, and finally we get a memory on Edge. Edge, who founded... He basically founded an organization called the Errorists, who are opposing... Basically, this is where it gets kind of weird. It's sort of hard... It's hard to get a bead, at least early on what Edge is actually about. They, in true cyberpunk style, they are definitely opposed to, they are opposed to, whatchamacallit? They're opposed to, memorize and the use of the Sensins, but they also use the Sensins to combat memorize, and it's not clear at first what actually they are opposed to. Just yet. It sort of becomes, like, obviously the game is about sort of exposing the crimes of memorize. And it'll become clear, like, obviously it's all going to become clear in time. And actually, as it turns out, at the end of the day, the game is actually really simple. The story is actually far more simple than it wants to be. One of the big issues with the story of the game, though, is that there's much more world building that was done than there is story to the game. Oh, okay. I think I'm about to remember. Okay, what just happened will be explained in a moment.
What was that thing?
That's a good sign, sister. With time, other memories will come back.
Okay, so that won't be explained yet. That gets explained later. She still has this odd drift to the left sometimes, and sometimes she doesn't run. The controls of the game and the camera are a little bit buggy.
You're almost there. Follow Tommy's flying drones to his bar.
There's another sign for Olga Sedova. Oh, we can move faster along ledges.
Give me a memory, man. Anything will do. Just need a fix. My last one. And I'll stop.
Memory's unraveling. It's loosening
Okay.
secondhand cyber orgasm. You're 2 steps away from
Cyber orgasm. I love that everything in Cyberpunk has to have like neo or cyber or techno in the name. That's, you know, that's how it is. That's how we know we're in cyberpunk.
Nice shortcut, Edge.
But that little exchange of "give me a memory, anything will do," sort of starts to talk about the more sinister aspects of Sensen technology, which is that there is a memory addiction that happens, where people become fixated on sensory experiences and memories. It sort of reminds me a little bit of
Don't stop, Million! Stop!
Oh shit! I missed. It sort of reminds me of the BTL, which was in Shadowrun. It sort of reminds me of BTL, which was again simulated sensory technology. Damn it! Her steering sucks. All right, the controls of this game are floaty as hell. She's got a weird inertia, hard to get started and hard to turn, and then she has a momentum. It's hard to describe, and I know I sound like I'm just sort of beating up on the controls, but yeah, there we go. All right, I managed to execute it.
Well, no going back.
Okay. Nope. Okay. And I think, yeah, see, this is one of, almost all of the collectibles are hidden along slight branches, where if you pay attention to everything, you will actually find all the collectibles just by poking at, just by checking every branch. And this is actually okay. This is the most interesting of the Neesist memories here. Okay, this actually talks about the Nanjing HP Fort incident in China, and what happened was, a memories of from psychiatric patients in a mental hospital in China somehow got released onto sort of the public memory network, which, you know, sort of like, imagine the internet was powered by sensory memories and stuff. So somehow these psychiatric patients' memories got released onto the public network, and when they infected the population developed the psychoses of the inmates. Memorize, the company that developed the Sensen technology, number one, they tried to shush the whole incident, but because 40,000 people or something were affected by it, and even after all of those people were memory wiped to fix them, there was still a lot of mental problems that persisted in the town thereafter. The other thing is that Memorize tried to blame the psychiatric hospital and say, well, they were running an unlicensed version of our software, and they never should have let this information get out in the first place. And this is the final collectible in part 1 of chapter 1 of this game. Okay. Alright, and now we've...
Someone gave Johnny my name.
Now we've hit kind of... I'm getting buffering. Is anybody else getting buffering?
Hard if you don't quit blubbing.